we're ready for the third piece, acceptance. Now, in the past, when this heavy red and black square feeling came on you, you didn't like it. And you kind of tried to push it away, but you were never very successful in the past until I showed you how to do it. What I'm going to ask you to do now, because you know you can control it, if it gets too strong, you know how to take care of it. So what I'm going to ask you to do is something that might have freaked you out yesterday if you'd tried it. And that is to sit with it. Have you ever had a friend who had a problem of some sort and they wanted you to be there? They didn't want you to solve the problem. They didn't even want to talk about the problem. They just wanted you to be there while they figured it out. You ever had anything like that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, I want you to imagine that this sensation of shyness is like that. Now, when we experience an emotion, if you've watched little children, emotions come and go in a minute or two. They'll be there, they're really intense for a minute, 2 minutes, and then they're gone. They're off. The emotion has resolved. And that's the normal way that emotions work. We humans, when we get to be adults, we figure our brain is so powerful that we don't have to live by normal rules. If we want to have a fight with an emotion, we'll just do that. Except that that makes it last longer. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to this time bring up that emotion, that sensation, knowing that you have full control over it, and be with it. Just like you were with that friend who just needed somebody nearby, knowing that you accepted them, knowing that you were there for them. Because after all, this emotion comes from inside you. So in that sense, this emotion is part of you. Yeah, and you wouldn't cut off your little finger because you got tired of it, didn't like it. You wouldn't cut off your ear. Same thing with emotions. We want to accept them. So what I'm going to ask you to do in a moment is to bring up that emotion and be present with it. Sit with it. Just be there for it. So that the emotion, if you imagine the emotion as a tiny little person, so that the emotion knows that you're there accepting it. Accepting doesn't mean you like it. Accepting just means, yeah, I accept you. And the other piece of how to do this, when you're being present, it's a challenging thing to do. And we often escape back up into our heads. So if you find yourself in your head, thinking about what you're doing, analyzing what's going on, making judgments about this sensation, or worst of all, trying to change the sensation, just say to yourself, oops, I'm in my head, back to being present. Okay? None of this, oh, you bad person, you're in your head again. Stop doing that. No, you be nice to yourself and say, oops, I'm in my head. Let's get back into my body where I belong. Okay? So go ahead and bring up that sensation now. and be with it in a spirit of acceptance. That's right. And as you're there, avoid analyzing or judging or trying to change things. Simply be with it in a spirit of acceptance. That's right. And now, we don't know what the sensation will do. It might get stronger. It might diminish. It might move around. It might transform into something else. Only the sensation knows. Only the emotion knows. Just be with it and allow it to resolve however it needs to resolve. Just be with it. If you find yourself in your head, just think, oops, I'm in my head, back to being present. Gently being there in a spirit of strong acceptance. You're part of me. You come from within me. I acknowledge you. That's right. That's right. And what's happening to that sensation now, Kendall?
Lesson?
It's lessening. Okay, stay with it. When you find yourself in your head thinking about it, just say, oops, I'm in my head, back to being present. Just be with the sensation. And if it should happen that this seems like something you want to do, feel free to send it love, but only if it feels right. It may not. We don't know. So what's happening now? I couldn't hear you.
I said my eyes burning.
Oh, and what's happening with the sensation?
What feels lost?
Yeah. So on that scale of 0 to 10, where is it now?
Feels like a 1.
A 1. Okay. Now, if when you meet somebody that you want to talk to or want to interact with, and you have that feeling at a 1, is that going to slow you down?
I'm gonna say no.
It doesn't feel like it, does it?
Wrong.
Okay, wonderful. Now, when you think of that sensation, go ahead and inside be with that sensation as a 1. Be there and kind of ask it. Ask it, is there anything you want me to know? And did you get an answer? Uh-huh. Can you share the answer?
Oh, yeah, don't let other people control your emotions.
Sorry, I couldn't understand the.
Oh, I said don't let other people control your emotions.
Ah, right. Who controls your emotions, Kendall?
I do.
That's right. So isn't that interesting that this shyness has had that thought all along and wanted you to know that? And you kept pushing the shyness feeling away.
Oh,
So, um, does it feel like the right thing to do now to send love to this feeling? Okay, go inside and do that now. Mm-hmm.
mm,
Yeah. How does that feel?
really good.
Okay. Okay. So now do that thing again where you did a little earlier, where you imagined being around somebody that you wanted to talk to and make it as vividly real as you can and notice what happens. And what happened?
Felt really good.
You felt really good. Okay. And what did you do?
Felt like I had a really good conversation with them.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Now, Kendall,
Yeah.
with an aspect of yourself that wanted you to avoid letting other people control your emotions, does it make sense to you how this part was perhaps not terribly elegantly, but protecting you for all this time? Because if you were going to go up to people and talk to them and let them control your emotions, maybe that's not all that healthy a thing to do. But once you've realized that you don't have to do that, that you can talk to them and retain control of your own emotions and be Kendall, whoa, then the old job that the shyness had may be useful to keep her around just to remind you in case you forget. But you don't really need that anymore, do you?
Mm.
Right. Unless you forget. And that's always possible. We're human. We forget.
Yeah.
So, okay. So send a thank you to that shyness and maybe a big hug.
Mm.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now, what's going to happen in the future if someone tries to control your emotions without getting your permission first?
I won't let them affect me.
Pardon?
I won't let them affect me.
Uh-huh. And how will you make sure that they don't affect you?
Oh, feel good in my own emotions.
Uh-huh. And, you know, if somebody tries to push an emotion on you, and, this is, and you didn't give consent, um, you can do the same thing as emotional control. Just,
Mm. Oh,
and that doesn't work for 100% of things, but most of the time it'll probably work.
mm,
And at that point, you can bring up your own emotion, like mild anger, saying, I didn't give you permission to do that.
mm.
Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now, summarize for me what's different about you now than who you were when we started this call.
Mm. Less nervous about being so shy.
Okay. It might
More
be
confident talking.
okay. It might be your microphone, but I'm having a lot of trouble understanding what you're saying.
Okay. It's probably where my phone is at the current moment.
Ah,
It's like,
okay. Oh, now it's much better.
yes, because it got hidden down in a little socket of the
Oh,
house.
okay. So let's try that again. What's different about you right now than the woman you were when we started this call?
Mm. Feeling more confident.
More confident? Uh-huh. And what will that mean?
Less likely to let people control how I feel or putting their emotions on me.
Right, right,
I empath not to feel the other or forced to feel their emotions myself.
right, right. Yeah. You can do that when it's something you want to do or when you give consent. But if you
Yeah.
don't give consent, you don't have to.
That's nice.
Yeah.